If you live each day as if it was your last, someday you'll most certainly be right.
A baby is all future. An old person is mostly the past. I find myself in this situation where the past, this moment, and the future all join each other. Birth, life, and death. Death is the only thing that's inevitable. All organisms, whether goldfish or grandchild, die. Some have a shorter life. Mayflies live only 24 hours or less. Some have a longer life. The bristlecone pine tree can live up to 5,000 years. I don't know if 5,000 years on this planet would be a blessing or a curse. You and everyone you know will someday be dead, but most lives are lived with passivity towards death. It's just something that happens to you and those around you. Until the time you die, you go about your days. You work, you eat, you sleep. You spend time with people, you have hobbies, routines. But then, suddenly, it all stops. It's like all your life you've been driving a car forward, and suddenly a brick wall emerges right in front of you, and you crash. When you die, everything ceases for you. The future you've imagined, the one just about to be realized, the culmination of decades of striving, has evaporated in an instant. You no longer have a future, a past, a present. There is nothing. All of us face the questions intersecting life, death, and meaning at some point. They usually arise in medical context or later in life, but I decided to stare death in the eye now. What does it matter, after all, whether you cease to be or never begin, when the result of either is that you do not exist? In our culture, dying is regarded as a terrible thing. It's a disease we suffer from. Yet none of the people who malign death have put it to the test. Think about how many people death is a blessing to. How many people it frees from torture, want, maladies, suffering, weariness. We also consider life, especially human life, to be of utmost value. We regard it as special. We think that our lives are somehow a lot more valuable than other life forms because we happen to be the most intelligent species. Think how long you've been doing the same thing as animals. Food, sleep, sex, the never-ending cycle. And if, as Milan Kundera suggests, our supreme moral test as mankind is how we treat species less fortunate than us, we have failed miserably. We have corporatized and standardized animal deaths and lost all touch with the sense of dying, life, and its dignity. Animals have become mere machines for us. Machines whose life mission is trying to satisfy us humans' never-ending hunger. We don't want to see what kind of treatment the delicious steak in our plate has gone through. How hypocritical it is to eat an animal you wouldn't kill yourself. We encounter death daily without even realizing it. And that's the problem. When we lose the sense of death, we lose the sense of life. Death isn't bad per se. I would argue that for the machine animals, death is a rescue. The mass food industry serves as an example on how far things can go if we don't keep death in our thoughts. We don't think about death, and so we fail to understand life.
Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose.
Death happens equally to good and bad men, and it doesn't make us better nor worse. Therefore, death is neither good nor evil. What is death then? The one law mankind has that is free of all discrimination. This is what we have forgotten. We have made death to seem like the most horrible thing you could imagine. According to Adlerian psychology, all problems arise from interpersonal relationships, and so it may be with death. Let's say no one knows you exist. You live as an exile. No one regards your death as a bad thing. It's just a law of nature that your time comes at some point. Once you're dead, it's not a bad thing for you anymore. You don't even know it. So how can you die? Let's start with a natural death that is the result of old age. We don't want to die, we want to live, as long as possible. Forever, if that would only be an option. But that would be catastrophic. If we enable everyone to keep on living, we overcrowd ourselves. Death is honorable because you are making room for others. The old need to die so that the young can prosper. As you age, your quality of life diminishes. The cells in your body start dying. You're less active. You're able to do fewer things and fewer things until you do your very last thing. Also, your mind slows down. We must make haste, not only because we are daily closer to death, but also because the conception of things and the understanding of them cease first. This is the reason why your years are worth more when you are young. You are able to do a lot more. Your brain and body simply work better. Most people cling on to the hope that when they retire, they will have all this free time to do the things they have always wanted to do. But that's not how it works. Time dilates when one moves at high speeds. When you are old, the day shortens considerably. A full day's activity might be a medical appointment or a visit from a friend. So on top of you being able to do a lot more when you are young, paradoxically you also have more time. At least that's how it feels like. So you cannot think that all of your life's remaining years are worth the same. Your life is worth many times more from the age 20 to 30 than from the age 60 to 70. The second kind of death is the so-called premature death. You die before old age. Most people rule this possibility out, but if you are doing so, you are making a grave mistake. A premature death can happen to you anytime, even if it's hard to believe. You can always get a terminal cancer, you can die in a car accident. The possibilities are numerous. Where death waits for us is uncertain, let us look for him everywhere. Whatever can happen at any time can happen today. Death can be a scary thing to think about, so we don't think about it. We try to avoid the unavoidable or we shut our eyes away from it. But the fear of death makes life itself slavery. There's nothing bad about death at all except the thing which comes before it, the fear of it. You can embrace death, and why shouldn't you? Because it's going to happen to you whether you like it or not. Premature death can still come, but you don't have to think that it's premature. If you get cancer at 40, so be it. It is still a full life if you regard it as such. All of us are going to die, but we don't want to believe it. We want to be here even if we don't have a good time. It's natural for us, the survival instinct. We believe in a better future, even though it might never present itself. So we keep on living. And we should live. But we think that death is bad, because it's an end, it's so definitive. When you live, life is full of possibilities, even if you don't take them. But we like to keep the door of opportunities open, just in case. When you die, that's it. There's nothing you can do anymore. Suddenly, all your successes and especially your failures become clear to you. This is what I should have done instead of that. But we don't want to face that critical self-examination. We don't want to face our fears if we can stay in the safe. That which you most need to find will be found where you least want to look. Death may very well be the one place we least want to look. Death gives you a sense of urgency. Don't act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. At the end of their lives, most people regret all the things they didn't do, the opportunities they didn't take. The opportunities to take action were always there. It's easy to feel like there is no hurry. You have a lot of time to do the things you want to do in life. You can chill for now. So you stay in a comfortable position and you tell yourself that you will seize the day next week. And so next week becomes next month. And next month becomes next year. Time doesn't care about your situation. It keeps moving forward slowly but surely. If your life is a car on the road, time is the road itself. And the road is endless. Think of how many people there have been before you, how many there will be after you're gone. Even if you lived a long life, your existence is nothing but a blink of an eye in the endless road of time, and the years go fast. One day you will run out of time, and you can't know when that day is here. Don't take your time for granted. You need to do the things you want to do now. The clock is ticking. If everything lasted forever, what would be the point? The beauty in many things is that they come to an end. A part of the splendor of all living things is that they will die. It's a miracle that they are even alive for now. Isn't it enough? How unnatural would it be for something to live forever? The fact of death can be unsettling, yet there is no other way to live. What are your concerns and fears next to death? Nothing. You don't care about money anymore. Doesn't matter if your coworker gets the promotion instead of you. Facing death, most of our ambitions are either achieved or abandoned. Either way, they belong to the past. You have to decide what actions are the most important ones. Thinking about death is thinking about what matters to you. You cannot understand death fully before you are dying. Neither can you understand life. There is no life without death, and vice versa. Death is the meaning of life. But before that, the meaning of life is to live. And the reason you should be thinking about death is in order to live a better life, to appreciate it, to understand that it will end, to see the great value that life has to offer. So keep death in mind, but don't fear it. Be neither blind to nor bound by death's approach. At the end of the day, thinking about death is kind of grim. While I thought about it for a week straight, I noticed that I wanted to get back into just living my life. And that's death's power, really, because it makes you appreciate life even more. I don't think you can appreciate life fully without thinking how it will come to an end. So thinking about death gave me a sense of urgency and meaning over what I'm doing. It's a nihilistic view to think that what you do in life doesn't matter because you're going to end up dead anyway, and it doesn't help you to live a fulfilling life. I would say that the most important thing is to look forward, no matter if you're young, if you're old, no matter what your situation is in life. It's not death that man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live.